I use these note cards for everything. My to-do list, things I just want to get done or keep track of, I use them. The problem is they get everywhere, so do my pens. I need to fix it. Alright, so this thing, all it really needs to do is hold a note card that's a 3x5 note card that has a little checkbox. You already saw it. And then I want to have a space to put a pen or pencil that kind of just lays in front of it. So let's go through and sketch out some ideas here. I already drew up some things, but I just kind of want to see what we can come up with overall. So my original idea was something along this line, where we put a little slot in here, maybe close to the front where the card can go, and then we'll make a little dip in here for where the pen would go. Or we could do that vice versa, a dip back here for where the pen goes and the slot farther back. I don't really know. So let's just play with that and see what we can do. So I'm going to set that at, let's say, 15 degrees. And then this guy here, let's set that at 30 degrees. So we just get that little differential. The total width, or width of the base, I don't know. Let's go with 3 and see what that does. And then everything else is set in there. So what I want to do at this point is kind of design the slot and kind of figure out where that's going to go and what it's going to look like. And here's my problem, is I want it to be facing backwards, so going up towards this top right hand side. So that means that I need to cut it in like this, or if I cut it in back here, it could just be straight up and down and look like it's at that edge. I don't know what the answer is for that. So let's go ahead in here and just try to cut this going back at a slight angle, and we'll get that perpendicular and that there. All right. So then we need to figure out how far it is from, dimension. From here, well, let's set in our dimension of how wide this is. So I measured the note card and it's 0.01. So I'm going to put that at 0.025, which is enough of an opening there. From here to there, let's say we want that to be, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. All right. And then I got to figure out how far down that needs to go, because I don't really know for sure. So I'm going to say that's going to go down maybe 3/8 of an inch. Okay, that seems reasonable. And then what I also want to do is I want to put a little kind of spot in here that we can cut out something so the pen can sit in there. Now, I haven't measured the pen yet to see what its diameter is, and that's going to kind of determine what the general consensus is here. So it's a diameter of just under 1/2 an inch. So this one's going to have a radius of 0.25. That will work. All right. And then I just need to figure out how far we want that to be from that spot. Let's go, what's 0.75 look like? That doesn't look like it's going to be enough of a dip. Let me undo those. Change it to 0.5. For some reason that errors out, probably just because it brings it over too far. 0.6. There we go. All right, let's finish that sketch. We'll extrude just this area here. We're going to extrude a total of 3 inches. So this thing's going to be pretty rectangular and pretty basey as far as, it's not going to be very tall, but it'll be basey on that. And then I'm just going to need to square off and round off some of these corners because they're going to be sharp. So let's add some fillets here to here and here. And then also here and there. All right. We're going to make those 1/8 of an inch if we can get away with it. Maybe not quite an 1/8 of an inch. It's too much. Maybe a 1/16. There we go. I think that will be better for that. We're going to round off the top as well. Ooh. I kind of like that. And if we put it on all the sides and all the sides there. Okay. So you put your note card in this slot. The pen can just lay on the front there and there's no sharp edges. I'm happy with that. We're going to see if that does anything when we're working with it. But one of the things I love about drafting software in general and just going through is I can make infinite numbers of this. So I can play with this for the end of time to see what I actually want. And then I can just print them out really quickly and use just a little bit of plastic to see what I did and turn it around real quick. So we're going to bring this into Orca Slicer in a moment, and then we'll see what's up and how long it's going to take and what the general process is here. All right, so here we are in Orca Slicer. This is the one I use for my FlashForge machine, which is my fastest printer by far. Bamboo Slicer for Bamboo, and then I use Anchor Studio for my Anchor Make. I would really like to consolidate all that at some point to be one slicer rule them all, but I'm not there yet. So we're going to have this bad boy come in. It should not be a big deal to print this. We don't need to have anything in particular special about this. The only thing I'm going to look at really is in the strength area. It's not structural, so 2 walls are fine. I am going to lower down the, actually I think I might raise up the density of the infill. And the reason for that is to just add a little bit more weight to the base. And then let's take a look here where we want to go with our infill pattern. So sparse infill pattern is a crosshatch. We can look through all of that if we wanted to. I think I want it to be grid. And this one for the solid infill, that's fine. We'll leave those as is. Let's go ahead and slice the plate. And this is going to take a total of 26 minutes to print. And it's going to use just under 19 grams of material. So it's going to be a pretty quick one, not a big deal. Let's just very quickly roll through. There's our grid fill. You can see it goes up, fills in, no problem. I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead over and export that code to our external hard drive or external USB. We'll save it, and in under a half hour, we'll be able to have that printed out, and we'll see the results. And here's the first print of what it is. The finish I'm not thrilled with, but I can change the orientation, not a big deal. It holds my larger pens, and it also holds my smaller pens without any real issues, so that's nice. The problem becomes when we put a note card in here. The angle is completely wrong. You see when it slots in, it looks okay from there, but when you move it to the side, it's leaned back way too much. It's not readable at a desk that's comfortable. I need it to be about half that, so it's standing closer to vertical. So we need to go back in Onshape and fix that angle, and then we should be good. So everything worked for the most part. This is big enough to accommodate the pens that I have of different sizes, if they have a handle on them or not. This slot was the problem. It's too angled. So we're going to go back in, and we're going to right click on Sketch 1. We'll edit that. And then we're going to go over to our front view and see what exactly we want to do here to get that to be better. So I'm going to dimension, hitting letter D from here to there. I want to see what angle that's at. It's at 39 or so degrees. That's too extreme for what we need. I think we need to add more to make it closer to vertical. So I'm going to look and see, I'm going to put in like 45 and see what that does. I don't think that's enough, so maybe 50. Maybe 55. Something along that line, because if we were to go in and put a vertical line in here, I want this to basically be 160. That's about right, I think. Okay. So then we'll finish our sketch there. And you can see the only problem we have is this comes down pretty low. So I may go in here and just change this angle here so it's not 30 anymore. But we're going to be kind of designing a certain height to go to. So right now it's a little over half an inch. If I do, let's say 5/8. That's going to cause some problems because we have this locked in and there's some other things locked in there. But we're going to just close out of that and we'll just see if we can play. Yeah, see, the big problem is we change this radius when we start moving that stuff around. So we can play with that if we want a little bit, but I don't want to get this too small either because if I finish my sketch here, now this area is cutting in and I don't want that. So I may just back up to be, that's where we started. And then that's where we are now. And what I could do is I could also just shorten that up just a touch so that it's not the same issue there. So instead of that, maybe we'll do 0.35. Just pull it up just a little bit more. And then that gets that out of there. All right, I'm happy with that. So we're going to go export this again just by right-clicking on this tab. Go to Export. We'll make sure we name it. STL is the format, and then millimeter is the unit. We'll export that, throw it in the Orca Slicer, print it up, and see what it has for us. And here's the redesign part. You can see that the finish is much better. I changed the orientation. Fits the pens, no problem. And then the note cards, it's much more vertical. It's shockingly much easier to see. I'm very, very happy with the end result here. Let me know what you think.